This one is a fascinating case. This is a prime example of what happens when one seemingly minor caveat has the power to derail the entire thing. To illustrate my point, let's focus on the cacophony of things that do work in this film. Obviously, the action is consistently great, from the boat chase on the Thames all the way to the final fight on the submarine. Even the saw-bladed helicopter, as silly as it is, earns points for originality. Also, the film made for a memorable send-off for Desmond Llewellyn, who sadly died shortly after this film was finished. And finally, the plotting in this film is actually quite strong, and it's fascinating to see it develop quite smoothly. The story even takes some detours that we usually never see in a Bond film. For example, in like 90% of other Bond films, M is just the order giver, the one who sets the movie in motion for Bond. So it was an incredible change of pace to see a story so closely revolving around M and how one bad decision sends everything spiraling down. This, however, wasn't the only tradition that this film refreshingly skewed. Getting into... One of the best things in this movie is how it toyed with your expectations by providing us with a striking villain in Renard. Funny enough, if he was the only villain in this film, we'd be fine with that. First off, he's played by Robert Carlyle, and let's face it, he's always a win. And Renard is not a blunt instrument, he's a cunning strategist, and more importantly, he is a physical match for Bond due to the fact that he feels no pain and can push himself harder than any normal man. Basically, he's Darkman, but evil. And prettier. It's not just a matter-of-factly quirk either, it's a trait that's used in many different ways to show off his complexities. In his first scene, he uses it as a form of intimidation, and later he has an intimate scene where his inability to feel sensation reminds him of how ineffectual he is as a human being and is doomed to go on numb to all of life's pleasures. And finally, there's that incredible final showdown between him and Bond. You see Bond really having to up his game because he knows it's not enough to punch him or even shoot him. So even with Renard alone, you'd think that would be enough, but then you find out who the real villain is. Elektra King. The woman Bond was assigned to protect. Never before and never since has the main villain of a Bond film been a woman, and Sophie Marceau balances her character's modes perfectly. In the beginning, she plays you into thinking she's a vulnerable yet reckless woman who's fighting to deal with the traumas of a kidnapping, only you find out that she seduced Renard and decided to use him as a tool to get revenge on her father and usurp his oil trade. When she drops the act, her stance, her body language, and her demeanor turn on a dime, and she makes up for lost time when it comes to showing off her bad side. Hands down, her defining moment is an uncomfortable scene where she's torturing Bond using this elaborate chair where every turn of the wheel could lead to Bond's neck being broken. Even after that, the moment when Bond executes Elektra, it's as dark as Brosnan's Bond ever got. There's no regret, no remorse, and no sympathy. Just a cold retort to show how easy it was for Bond to change his attitude towards Elektra once she threatened the mission. It's one of those great unsung moments in the history of 007. So what was the crippling element that hurt this film? Oh come on, you know who it is. What's sad is that in concept, Christmas Jones actually works as a heroine character. She's gutsy, smart, she can defuse a nuclear bomb under pressure, and she's entirely no nonsense. Then you had to go and cast the worst actress you could find just to cash in on the boobs factor. And then you punctuate it with a feeble justification for an awful last line that is as tacky as it is obvious. Denise Richards is a horrible actress, always has been, and to this date has yet to deliver a performance that hints at the idea that she has the capacity to hone her craft. All credibility this film was cultivating in the hour prior to her introduction crashes and burns at the minute you try to sell us on the idea that she is a nuclear physicist in short shorts and a tank top. After that, you're stuck with her, and she drags down every scene with her wooden delivery and stoic facial expression, and this movie was riding strong prior to her arrival on the scene. She's like the iceberg that sunk the Titanic, the crippling blow to Achilles' heel, that creepy cousin in the latter days of the Brady Bunch. The second she arrives, any goodwill this film earns disappears like fresh air in a fart. I know it seems like a lot of hate to drop on just one bad actress, but when that actress represents a critical element of the story, you have to just cut the bollocks and point a finger and judge. Hell, even the marketing people want you to forget her. In the Bond 50 box set, in the slot where Christmas Jones is supposed to be, they put Elektra King there instead. If that isn't a testament to how badly we all want to forget this character, damned if I know what is.